Nobody teaches you how to lose. Have you ever known the right thing to do and chosen the opposite anyway? Have you ever acted too early because waiting felt painful? Have you ever watched yourself making a mistake and still didn't stop? Have you ever reacted immediately because silence felt uncomfortable? Have you ever broken your own rules because your emotion was stronger than your discipline? Have you ever tried to fix one mistake by making another one? Have you ever said, just this once, and later realized that once was never really once? We've all been there. I've been there. And after everything was over, you sat alone and asked yourself, why did I do that? Not, what did I lose? But, why did I lose control? Why do we repeat the same mistakes, even after knowing the consequence? Why does the mind choose relief over wisdom? Why does a person destroy his own plan and then call it bad luck? Maybe the real loss doesn't begin when the money disappears. Maybe it doesn't begin when the relationship ends. Maybe it begins much earlier. It begins in the exact moment you stop listening to yourself. Nobody teaches you this. Nobody teaches you how to lose. Nobody teaches you how to lose. They teach you how to win. They teach you strategies, systems, and setups. They teach you entries. They teach you exits. But nobody sits you down and says, here is what happens inside you when everything goes wrong. Nobody teaches you what fear does to a disciplined mind. Nobody teaches you what one bad day does to a good plan. Nobody teaches you that your biggest enemy is not the market. It's not the economy. It's not bad luck. It's the 6 inches between your ears. And until you learn how to manage that, nothing else will work. Nothing. It never starts big. That's what people don't understand. Nobody blows up their account in one decision. Nobody destroys a relationship in one argument. Nobody ruins their health in one meal. It starts small. It starts quiet. It starts with a feeling. A feeling that says, just this once. A feeling that says, I'll recover it quickly. A feeling that says, the rules apply to everyone else, not me, not today. And you listen to that feeling, because in that moment, the feeling is louder than the plan. That's the moment. Right there. That is where it begins. Not in the loss. In the permission you give yourself right before the loss. Here's what nobody tells you about emotion. Emotion is not the enemy. Emotion is information. Fear is telling you something. Greed is telling you something. Impatience is telling you something. The problem is not that you feel it. The problem is what you do with it. A surgeon feels nervous before a difficult operation, but he doesn't put the scalpel down and walk away. He feels it. He breathes. He continues. That's the difference. Not the absence of emotion, the management of it. Because here is the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Emotion, unchecked, will always override logic. Every single time. Your brain in a state of fear does not think clearly. Your brain under pressure does not make wise decisions. It makes fast ones. And fast is not the same as right. Fast feels like action, but fast is usually just panic, wearing a plan. You know this one. You take a loss. You feel it. You don't sit with it. You go straight back in. Not because the setup is good, because you want the money back. Right now. Immediately. That's not trading. That's not investing. That's not even a decision. That's revenge. You are trying to punish the market for what it did to you. And the market does not care. The market never cared. The market will take that too. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times before the light bulb. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Because the 1,001st experiment was the light bulb. But he didn't run back into the lab angry. He went back with a new question. The difference between a person who grows and a person who stays broken is not how many times they lost. It's what they did in the hour after the loss. Did they sit with it? Did they learn from it? Or did they run from the feeling straight into another mistake? Sit with the loss. That's where the lesson lives. People think discipline is strength. It's not. Discipline is a decision you make before the emotion arrives. When the emotion arrives, it's already too late. You either set the rule in advance or you didn't. That's why successful people plan their exits before they enter. They decide the stop loss before they open the trade. They decide the boundary before the conversation starts. They decide the limit before the hunger arrives. Because they know the version of me under pressure cannot be trusted to make that decision. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. The person who sets the rule in advance is not scared. They are simply honest about what emotion does to them. And that honesty, that's the real discipline. Without commitment, you'll never start. But without consistency, you'll never finish. And without self-knowledge, you will keep repeating the same loss and calling it bad luck. Here is the most dangerous part. After it's over. After the damage is done. You tell yourself a story. The market was manipulated. Nobody could have seen that coming. I was close. I just needed more time. The story protects you. The story keeps you comfortable. The story feels like wisdom, but it is actually armor. And armor keeps pain out, but it also keeps learning out. The people who grow the fastest are not the ones who avoid pain. They are the ones who sit in the silence after the loss and ask the honest question. Not, who is to blame? But, where did I stop listening to myself? That question is hard. That question is uncomfortable. But that question is the only one that leads somewhere real. Fall down 7 times. Get up 8. But when you get up with a different question. Nobody teaches you this in school. Nobody teaches you emotional regulation. Nobody teaches you how to sit with discomfort. Nobody teaches you that patience is a skill, not a personality type. Patience is a muscle. And like any muscle, if you never train it, it will fail you exactly when you need it most. The most successful people I have ever studied were not the smartest. They were not the most experienced. They were the most honest. Honest about their fear. Honest about their greed. Honest about the exact moment they stopped following the plan. Because once you can see that moment clearly, you can change it. But if you keep blaming the chart, if you keep blaming the news, if you keep blaming everything outside you, you will stay exactly where you are. Keep working. Keep learning. Keep being honest. That's the only system that never fails. The real work is not what happens on the screen. The real work happens before you open the platform. It happens in the quiet moment before you decide. It happens when you sit still and ask, am I in the right state to make this decision today? Not, is the setup good? But, am I good? Because a perfect setup in the hands of a broken emotional state is still a loss waiting to happen. You have to give it everything. Your time, your attention, your honesty, your willingness to sit still when every part of you wants to move. That's the work. That's the real edge. Not the indicator, not the strategy, not the signal. You. You are the edge, and you are also the risk. Remember this: being busy is not the same as being disciplined. Placing more trades is not the same as improving. Reading more books is not the same as changing behavior. Don't confuse movement with progress. My mother used to say, you can run in place all your life and never get anywhere. Growth is not about doing more. Growth is about doing the right thing at the right time with the right state of mind. Continue to have goals. Continue to review your losses honestly. Continue to ask the hard question. Because the day you stop asking is the day you stop growing. And the day you stop growing, you start repeating. Nobody teaches you how to lose. But now, you know.